What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another edition of the Nittany Pod. I am AP, joined again by my good friend TK. How's it going, man?
Going good, brother. Game day is upon us.
Yeah,
The week is dragging.
definitely is. It feels
Ready to
horrible.
talk some ball and ready to talk West Virginia and a couple other good games we got on this slate for sure.
Yeah. Alex, unfortunately, is not going to be with us this week. He has to work, but moving forward, we hope to have all three of us on each episode for you guys. Sorry that it's coming out to you a little bit late. We had some logistical issues, and it was just crazy the past few days. But we're here. We're ready to talk some ball with you. Man, we got to start off week 0. Last week, we said we're not going to talk about any of the games. They're all shit. We figured Florida State was just going to beat Georgia Tech, or at least I assume we all figured that. And wow, what a week 0. That was a wonderful game. I didn't watch any of the other games, but that was a nice way to start the season.
I watched the Florida State game, obviously. And then I watched the Montana State game against, I think it was New Mexico, and they went down like 21 and then came back to win. I mean, that was
crazy.
Just like, I feel like every time there's like what we would call a shit slate or something crazy happens.
Yeah, there's always something.
Florida State loses and Montana State goes down 20 or something, and then comes back to win against New Mexico. Like, something always happens. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, we definitely should have talked about it. Definitely fortunate to not be a Florida State fan right now. Hopefully, we're not in the same boat as them next week.
That's correct.
Yeah, definitely an interesting way to start the season. And now we are in game week. Penn State fans, the wait is almost finally over. It has been hell on Twitter, any social media the past month, man. I mean, West Virginia fans have been going crazy. Some of the reports we've been hearing from camp have us questioning what the hell we're even talking about with Penn State. It's a lot of craziness right now, man. But number one thing, West Virginia fans are talking their shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a little chaotic on the app that some of us know and love. I don't know. It's been eye opening for me. I have a good buddy of mine who's a Maryland fan. He always said that West Virginia fans are fucking idiots. Last year they didn't really say anything. They just kind of came to Penn State, got their doors blown off, and left.
Yeah.
But I guess this year is different with a lot of the same players, minus some of their best players. But if any of you West Virginia fans are listening to this and you're on Twitter, I mean, it's been fun for sure.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Just know that you will be held accountable if this doesn't go your way. If anybody remembers last year with Auburn, or 2 years ago with Auburn, what took place after that game, that week that followed,
you were going crazy.
It would be the same treatment, maybe a little worse, honestly. So just make sure that you are ready to hold yourself accountable. And hey, I'll hold myself accountable if it happens, which I pray to God it doesn't. We'll be held accountable as well. So it's been a little fucking nuts on there for sure.
Yeah, I tend to, I've gotten into the habit of not talking too much shit because I hate when it comes back on me. But yeah, they've given us a lot of stuff to run with. I'm sure I know you have a folder full of bookmarks.
Oh yeah.
As do I. And I know a lot of Penn State fans watching and listening to the show do as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they've been talking crazy. Like you said, last year, totally different vibe. Like, we weren't hearing anything from West Virginia fans. And then this year, it feels a lot like Auburn 2022, Maryland 2019. Hell, I can't even think of any others that were crazy like that. But
it's cool. I mean, it's cool. It's just like I keep asking, AP or Alex or maybe Penn State talk or everything or everybody. I'm like, what's happening? Like, am I missing something here? Like, this is the same team that wanted Neil Brown fired right after our game. This is the same team who did not beat a team with a winning record until a bowl game against UNC. All of their best teams that were somewhat decent, I guess you would say, they lost.
Yep.
And everybody's gonna say, "Oh, well, Penn State the same thing with, Michigan and Ohio State," but we didn't lose. Not to draw comparisons because that's a stupid game, but one, we didn't lose the way that you lost. Number one.
Yeah.
And number two, we did still beat a good Iowa team last year as well. Like, they had a good defense. Mm-hmm. We took them. We dismantled them with an offense that we have tons of questions about. So It's been interesting, and it'll be interesting this weekend, and we'll see how it shakes out. But
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, there's levels to this, right? You know, they give us shit for losing to Ohio State and Michigan every year, whatever. Drew Aller wasn't good in those games, whatever. Okay, that's Ohio State and Michigan, and if you want to throw the Ole Miss game in there, go ahead. That's Ohio State, Michigan, and Ole Miss.
Yep.
With West Virginia, you're talking about Oklahoma State,
Houston.
Oklahoma. They're close to that level. Houston was a loss, although they should have won that game. I don't even really count that for them. I was pissed when they lost that game, but it's still a loss. Yeah, exactly. And then of course our game, they got their shit kicked in. It's just funny because all off season we've heard a lot from a lot of people around the country, not just West Virginia fans, that Drew Aller isn't good. Drew Aller is ass, whatever. And it's funny because the last couple of weeks I've heard quite a few people walking that back in spaces a little bit. Regardless, a lot of people give Drew Aller shit for not performing well in those games. On the flip side, you got Garrett Green at West Virginia. He's getting, now, albeit this is from his fan base, but this is the same fan base that calls Drew Aller shitty, even though he threw for 325 and 3 tutties last year on him. They call Drew shitty, but then say Garrett Green is a Heisman candidate.
Yep.
When you look at those losses last year, that motherfucker ain't even throw for, he didn't even complete 50% of his passes.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I understand he can use his legs.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
he didn't throw. So he didn't throw for that many less yards than Drew, which is fine. No. I mean, that is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just want to call it what it is, though. Like I want to say his priority is to run. Like that's the reality here. Like everybody in the Twitter, like we talk about Twitter, a lot's going to come up on the show about Twitter. I feel like just because it's been so back and forth. Like when you tell me that West Virginia is a better running team than Penn State, I don't agree with that when we're talking about Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson and Katron Allen and Nixon. I don't agree with that, and they have good numbers too. They really did. I just don't agree with that. And then you're adding in Garrett Green, who ran for 700 yards. Like that's a lot of yards for a quarterback to run, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the Drew Aller comment that you made, people say he's ass, and the Garrett Green and then I saw a comment yesterday, I believe it was, that someone from West Virginia was talking about, well, Penn State didn't run the ball effectively last year on us with your two coveted backs. And I just sat back and it's just like, this is who we're talking to. Like this, I wonder why we didn't have someone rush for 100 yards when Drew Aller had the best game of his probably career in football and threw for 325 yards, 24 for 28. Why would we hand the ball off?
It's funny in hindsight because you think about Penn State's fourth play on offense last year was Drew Aller's second longest throw of the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
On the fourth play.
Mm-hmm.
When that happens, well, obviously we don't need to run it down your throats. You let KLS go up top on you twice. Harrison Wallace looked great. Unfortunately, got hurt, and we all know how that went last year. But I mean, yeah, they didn't have to last year. They might have to this year. The weather looks a little bit iffy. Whatever. Obviously, you want to lean on the ground game because passing game we're not too sure about. But it's funny, man.
To nip it in the bud a little bit, and I feel like I have to remind myself of this too, and not just when it comes to Drew or the offense. Like I'm going to read off the amount of points Penn State scored per game here last year because everybody says they can't score. Okay, and Penn State has a good defense. I think everybody with a brain would agree there.
Mm-hmm.
At mostly every level. I mean, the defensive line's fantastic. Linebacker room should be great this year. I don't know about the corners as much. They're going to rely on the transfers for sure. Safety room's fantastic, but I'm going to read these. These are the points that Penn State scored in their games, and you'll know which two are the losses. So don't be a fucking prick about it if you're hearing this. 38, 63, 30, 31, 41, 63, 12, 33, 51, 15, 27, and 42.
That's insane.
So and then Ole Miss, everybody wants to bring up 28 in that loss, or 25.
Not bad. Not bad.
That's really not that bad. Now Michigan, great defense, had chances. If Drew doesn't fumble at the 50, I don't know where that goes. But that's a different conversation. 15 points there, unacceptable. Obviously not enough. Ohio State, 12 points there. Nowhere near enough, obviously. Just wasn't good enough. But this isn't who you're playing. Like West Virginia defensively
Not even
on any
close.
level
Not even
is not
close.
Michigan or Ohio State. It's not
No.
Iowa. It might not be Rutgers, bro.
Oh my God! Speaking of Ohio State, man, did you see some guy today tweeted about there's a backup linebacker on West Virginia, I guess transferred from Ohio State. Never even heard of the guy before. And he's talking about, oh yeah, we should just roll him out there because he played at Ohio State. Penn State's gonna shit down their legs.
I
Brother.
sent that to our people that we talk to for Ohio State pretty much daily, and they said, yeah, that guy just fell behind and was a fifth string linebacker for us.
Bro, he's not good. He's not good.
Like it's crazy to me. This isn't a shit on West Virginia. I think it's going to be a challenge. Morgantown is a challenge. That is a challenge in
Definitely.
itself. I get that, and they have playmakers, bro. Every team in the country, I don't care how bad the team is, every team has 1 to 4 probably got that are dudes. Like straight up. Look at Illinois last year. They absolutely fucking sucked, but their defensive line was good. They had 2 dudes on the defensive line.
Yeah, Johnny Newton is a dog.
Look at a program like Maryland. As much as we shit on Maryland because they're Maryland or whatever it is, Maryland's had dudes at receiver.
They always have someone.
Iowa has a good defensive back every single year that's an absolute stud. A tight end that's an absolute stud. A tackle that's every team has somebody, bro. For them, it's Garrett Green, Jaheim White, C.J. Donaldson, and then the left tackle. Right, the left tackle is very good. It's what it is. That's every team. Every team has 4. We have probably fucking 10 or 12 of them.
Honestly. But they don't want to acknowledge that.
No, of course not. And that is what it is.
It's just like, obviously, I can't fault them for having confidence in their team. They feel really good about their team. West Virginia finished last year very strong. So, is what it is. Like, kudos to you for having confidence in your team, but like, let's reel it in a little bit, okay? They want to talk all this stuff about Josiah Trotter acting like he's a 2-time All-American. I'm pretty sure this is going to be his first start.
Never played.
Pump the brakes a little bit.
Saw a message today they were talking about depth or something in the linebacker room, and the notes were as followed. I think one was like, helped us start really strong defensively last year before injury. Never talked down on someone who's injured, obviously. But that defense was never excelling in the beginning of the year last year. Then it was Trotter, I believe.
Yeah.
He's like, he's going to take a massive like, it was about depth and talent. He's like, he's going to take a massive step, but he's never played. The next kid was 4-star talent, has played like 400 snaps for us, but no one really knows who he is at this time. Well, and the last kid is just, I don't get it, bro. Like, I don't understand.
It's funny because, what you just mentioned with the guy that's had like 300-400 snaps with them. There's a guy out there who made a 13 reasons why list on why Penn State would lose, which, first of all, is just hilarious. Why would you even? Anyway, one of his reasons was that our cornerbacks are new, which obviously they are. But our defensive backs in general, I think the guy had mentioned, like, they only have so many snaps playing college football. They were pretty similar to 300 or 400. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how you can say 300-400 snaps in one case is bad and then in the other case it's good. Like, that's just straight up bias.
Yeah, I mean, we could. That's like us saying that AJ Harris is an All-American. I mean, no one's really seen AJ Harris play. Now, Kimber from Florida, there's some tape on him. He does some things well. He doesn't do some things as great. I mean, just realistically.
Yeah.
But the corners for Penn State are more than capable. And then the safety room is fucking loaded. So I don't know, bro. I think it's interesting. I mean, we could go back and forth on every single position group that they've talked about. But we'll find out Saturday. I mean, it is what it is. Hey, if we lose, I'll be here. You can pull my bookmarks. I see you weirdos fucking bookmarking everything I tweet too. So you want to act like fucking Maryland, that's fine. Or act like Pitt, and that's fine. Or hold hands with Pitt like fucking little babies, that's fine too. But just know, like, if it doesn't go your way, then you'll be treated the same. Like, you'll be treated the same. And if it's really nasty, then that's going to make it that much worse, because then the 2019 game for Maryland and everything, you'll just be the same. Like,
people will be putting body bags on social media if that happens.
Saw something today. Someone said, a beat writer for them, by the way, said this is the biggest game in 25 years for West Virginia.
Which, granted, it is. Even Pat McAfee
Is
said that.
it?
It's a huge. No.
Is
I
it?
say that because, obviously early 2000s, West Virginia had some great teams.
Yeah.
Great teams. Which brings me to the point. West Virginia fans are also talking all this shit about, Drew Aller is going to shit down his leg when he hears 60,000 people at Millen Pusker, however you pronounce their stadium name. Brother, our stadium is 100. Like, we play Ohio State, Michigan. We play in stadiums every year that are 100,000+ people. Like, I don't understand where this idea is.
Drew Aller
He's not gonna.
was at Iowa.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I believe that, what was that? That was 21? 22. Did
Yeah.
we play Iowa in 2022?
I think no. 21 was the last one.
Yeah, so he wasn't there,
the
but
Taekwon game.
But like the
But
Purdue
regardless,
game,
Purdue. Yep.
I don't know how many fucking people Purdue holds, but it's probably similar.
Yeah. I'm sure close.
And
Yeah.
he came in that game as a true freshman and just was like, okay, sling it around, like fuck it, like. So I don't know.
And it's funny to me too because they act like their stadium is some crazy home field advantage, which I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's loud. I'm not saying it's a good home field advantage. But let's talk about the facts, man. That stadium does not have this perceived notion of voodoo like Jordan Hare, which, by the way, we went down there and kicked the shit out of the team in that stadium as well. This isn't a voodoo stadium, nothing like that. Matter of fact, the biggest memory that I can think of in that stadium is when Pitt walked in, and West Virginia is a week away from going to the national title game. All they got to do is beat Pitt, who's unranked, and they lost. Yeah. So miss me with all this bullshit talking about Millen Pusker. Man, been there, done that. Yeah. They'll be fine.
And also, like, if you are one of those, like, if you're like, so we like use the term freaks loosely. Like, if you're one of the actual freaks that's like talking about bringing batteries into the stadium and throwing them at,
yeah, bro, that's kids, crazy.
Like, you need help, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you need actual help. Like I promise you throwing the fucking battery at a kid isn't gonna help you like win the game. Like I promise you. Like, there's
just
so
makes
many.
You look like a shithead.
There's so many fucking Penn State fans going too. Like, I can't imagine me waiting several months for college football. For the first thing I do when I get in the stadium is pulling out a fucking AA Duracell and throwing it at fucking somebody's head. Like, you need to seek fucking help. Like,
yeah.
Please seek mental evaluation. Like, mother of God, man.
Yeah, they're getting a little crazy with it, but fortunately, all that will be done and in the past in just a couple of days. Give me your prediction for the game. How's the game going to go? What's the score going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I've gone back and forth on what I think it's going to be. I think the correct difference will be Penn State winning by 10. I've had it 31-17 for a long time, so I'm going to stick with that. But I think the right number is 10. Like, I think it could be like I'd say maybe 30-20. With them scoring late maybe or something. It's just hard because I don't know how, like, I don't think we're going to give up a lot of points. Like, no. I just don't think we're going to. Like, we just haven't
I have a lot of faith in that defense
in a long time. So, and I think we're going to score. So,
yeah.
31-17. But if it's 30-20 or 31-21, I could see that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head. I was going to go 30-21. I think I was sitting here thinking in my head 30-21 is where I'm at. I could definitely see it being a wider margin. I can see it being a closer margin, but I can't see Penn State losing this game. I just can't. The talent gap, not to mention James Franklin rarely loses game one.
Yeah.
Rarely. And that's something people don't talk about. People always want to, people love to shit on James Franklin and his performance in big games and all this stuff. Look, week one, he's good. We started at Wisconsin. That was a big game in 2021. That was a huge game, top 25 matchup. We walked in and won. Granted, that was with Sean Clifford, and he was a veteran at the time. Yep. But Sean Clifford was also coming off of a horrible 2020 where he got benched for Will Levis. So
I think it's obviously pretty noted I'm not a big Franklin guy.
Right. Yeah.
But one thing I agree with when people say it, and I say it to other people, is, look, man, he usually wins the games he's supposed to win and loses the games he's supposed to lose. And for me, this is a game that he's supposed to win.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a
There's no
game.
question about
This
that.
is a game for him. These type of games for him. Wisconsin, this game, the Auburn game, the Iowa game like this is how he's stayed here. Like
Mhm.
and that's the reality, and I'm not saying that's the right like thing, for him to just stay based off beating teams like Iowa and Auburn or Maryland or Michigan State or whoever.
Right,
But
yeah.
that's essentially what he's done, dude. Like he's gone 10-2. He wins 10 games. He loses to the only two teams he's supposed to lose to by the books or however it goes most of the time. And he's made a living doing that.
He does
And
exactly what Vegas expects. He doesn't do what we expect.
this is
So, I
and
mean,
they
that sums him
expect
up
him to win.
perfectly.
They expect him to win this game.
Yep.
I expect him to win this game. Now, caveat here, if he does not win this game,
Oh,
he
boy.
is going to be the most hated person in Pennsylvania. Like,
Yeah.
the pitchforks will be out. Like, and you can, like, yeah, he got the extension and all that, and that's all good, and we won't talk about that on this, but, like, he can't lose. He can't lose this game.
No.
He can't. Like, if he does, then he'll lose the little portion, because there is a solid following of Franklin that do support him, like, a lot. And I support him because he's the head coach of Penn State. But, like, there's a large, like, little bit left that's like, no, he's still the guy to win these big games. Losing a game like this would lose that little portion, for sure.
Absolutely. %. I agree. Man, I wish Alex was on here to be able to join with us and give us his opinion on the game. But obviously, I'm sure we know Alex is probably predicting a win. I'll try to get you a score at some point. I'm going to be making graphics with the scores and all of our picks for the week and whatever. Yeah, looking forward to a fun game this weekend. Hopefully, Morgantown is everything that we expect. I still want it to be an amazing environment. I just want it to be empty with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, just like it was in Jordan-Hare a couple years ago.
There'll be a lot of Penn State fans there.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I fully expect that.
There's gonna
Hopefully
be.
the weather's good and everybody has a good time tailgating. I know that tailgate scene is going to be insane.
Yep.
I'm really jealous I'm missing out on that.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's move on, man. Week 1 is here. We got some other big games to talk about. Miami, Florida is a huge game. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep.
Give me some of your picks. Everybody's expecting TK lock of the week. Like, what's good, man? What you
Yeah,
got?
I mean, obviously, I think we finished the year last year with only 2 losses. Betting is legal in the state of North Carolina now, so I will be able to obviously break bread off these now. Lock of the week is relatively simple this week. I think LSU gets it done against USC week 1. A lot of people are a little stressed out about that. Think that USC could come out swinging. I think LSU gets it done. That's my lock of the week for week 1.
And that is one of the games that we were going to pick. So obviously you have LSU winning that game.
Yep.
I've been so back and forth in my head on this game all week, man. Like, I can fully see and more realistically expect LSU to win. But I just have this thought in the back of my mind, man. USC's offense, Lincoln Riley's offense, because USC is a huge question mark this year. But
yep.
One thing that's not a question mark is whether or not Lincoln Riley is going to field a good offense. With the question marks from LSU's defense last year, that's very intriguing. Both teams have a lot of questions, so that's going to be a really fun game. And I'm just kind of dancing around my answer here. I think I'm going to go with USC, man. Give me USC.
Really? You're going to pick USC week 1 in Vegas to beat LSU, huh?
Give me USC. It's closer to home for them. They should have the little crowd advantage, which obviously doesn't mean much shit. Yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll find out on Sunday.
I guess.
Yeah, if you're trying to watch that game on Saturday, good luck, because it's not happening that day.
I like that. I like that it's on Sunday, though, by the way.
Yeah. And then we got a game on Monday, too. I always love this week 1 rollout, man. We got games, starting tomorrow. We're recording this on Wednesday. Got games tomorrow through Monday. So definitely enjoy the football weekend.
Quick, like, not to backpedal too far, but for Penn State specifically, this is the only game you really have for a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so there's no excuse whatsoever. Like, there's no excuse for anybody, for the players, the staff, nothing. Like, the next 2 games you're going to have a spread of like 40 points. Like, this is it. Like, this is the game for the month of September. Like, for the month of September, this is your game.
Which I
That's
feel
it.
like that might be also a reason why we're kind of extra nervous. But at the same time, I feel like we shouldn't be, because
Yeah.
if this is the only game we have all month, like this is literally the one game you've been preparing for all off season. But it just makes me so nervous, man, to build up to it. I always have nerves heading into week one, but with West Virginia fans being so damn loud and cocky, and I just always have this thought in the back of my mind, like, what if the trolls are right
Yeah.
and we're fucked? And then
Yeah.
next week's episode would be entertaining as hell, watching this guy and Alex crash out. It'd be fun.
That's correct.
But no, actually, it wouldn't be fun. Fuck that. Don't want to see that happen. Next game, let's pick. We're not picking Clemson and Georgia, but we will talk about that. We'll come back to that. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Who you got in that?
I am absolutely fucking hammering Notre Dame plus money. 100%. I think Notre Dame is a lock to win that game. It's like plus 120 right now. I don't understand it. I'm really high on Notre Dame this year, though. But yeah, I have Notre Dame all the way in that game.
They're kind of in a similar boat with us as far as like this is really their game.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a couple other good games on their schedule this year, but I mean, really, all the buildup is for this. I mean, if you win this game, yeah,
100%.
It is interesting though, because Texas A&M unranked, or maybe they are. I don't know. I haven't looked at the rankings lately,
I think they are ranked. I'll look. I think they are
in the 20s or something. But yeah, I know it being at Kyle Field is a huge advantage for them, and I think that advantage does work out for them. I am going to pick Texas A&M. Notre Dame, I don't know. You can call me a hater if you want. I don't know, man. I don't really believe in them too much.
Well, they are.
Their quarterback they're 20.
7 versus 20 at 7:30. That's the night game.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game, man. I am going to pick Texas A&M in that. Texas A&M has a really good roster. Everybody thinks Jimbo Fisher left the cupboard bare for Mike Elko. He did not. They've got some players. Obviously, they lost a lot, but Notre Dame also lost their left tackle that's replacing their first-round pick left tackle.
Yeah.
So if Texas A&M has a good pass rush this year, they might be in a little bit of trouble week one. So give me Texas A&M.
I think Notre Dame has the best corner in the country, though.
Yeah.
That's tough. Will Johnson's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, you're splitting hairs between the two of them, for sure.
They're both fantastic.
You can't go wrong picking either one of them. All right. So let's get this other one out of the way. What game did I say we were going to do? Shit.
I don't really want to say it because I know the chaos that it's going to bring.
Oh, yeah. That's right. The Toxic Bowl.
Yeah, the Toxic Bowl. The Hot Seat Bowl, low key.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whoever loses this game, I kind of want to go roam their message boards afterwards because holy shit, it's going to be on fire. If you don't know what we're talking about, Miami plays Florida on Saturday, 3:30 in the Swamp. That's going to be there. There's going to be a lot of hydration breaks on Saturday in that game. But yeah, very interesting teams. A lot of people are high on Florida as a team itself, but obviously their schedule was brutal, absolutely brutal. And there are a lot of question marks around their head coach as well. Not sure if he's the right guy. Regardless, Florida does have good talent. Miami going on the road. Everybody has questions about Mario Cristobal. They look like a really good team this year as well.
Yep.
Who do you got?
Oh man, this is tough for me, man. I'm going to my buddy's place Saturday to watch all the games. Huge Florida fan. God, it's so tough, man. It really is. I'm gonna. I guess
you almost got to pick Florida for him.
Yeah,
you might not be allowed in the house.
I think I'm going to. I think I am going to pick Florida because I'd like to be able to eat and drink my beers. It's going to be close, man. I don't think it's a blowout. Playing at the Swamp as well, so I will pick Florida. Not a knock on Miami. I'm high on Miami this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Napier, he needs it bad. Like, he needs it really bad. Like,
yeah,
with the schedule they have this year, this is a game where if you win it, I feel like it kind of is like almost a silver lining for them.
Absolutely, it is.
But I will say, if they win this game, they have I think, like, if Florida was to win this game, they have a shot to start 4-1, probably.
Yeah, I mean, after this game, their schedule looks pretty clear until Tennessee. I'm trying to pull
Yeah,
up the
now the
schedule
last
right now.
5 weeks, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I mean, just
ass.
absolute
That's
murderers row.
yeah, that is absolutely brutal. But I'm gonna pick Florida for my guy.
Ooh, they have Texas A&M week 3 as well, though.
Yeah, but I think it's
Buddy.
4-1. I think that's the only game they lose. 3-1.
Yeah.
4-1, I think. Yeah, that's the only game they lose.
Yeah, I forgot about that game.
So that's where I'm going. I'm going Gators.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this really is a tough game because, like you, I am high on Miami this year. If this game was in Miami, I'd say Miami, absolutely no question. But it's not in Miami; it's in the Swamp. You good there? You got something?
I just
Up
don't
with your
know.
water?
I mean, are you saying that because it's at the Swamp, or are you saying that because it's a Hard Rock? Because if it's a Hard Rock, that really doesn't. That's what I'm saying. I'm being honest, though. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Like, are you saying it because it's Miami not having to deal with the Swamp, or because Florida would have to play at Hard Rock?
I'd say it's because they're them not having to deal with the
Okay.
Swamp. The Swamp is
Okay.
definitely something to deal with.
Okay, just want to clarify.
Yeah, for sure. No, we know how that shit is down there.
Yeah.
I think I might still. No, I'm gonna go with Florida here, man. In like a 2-3 point game. Yeah, I think the Swamp. The Swamp is something fierce.
We're both picking Florida, dude. We're about to be put on the internet bad.
Yeah, might
Man.
get kicked from the group chat, bro.
Yeah, it might, for
Sorry.
real.
But hey, Miami will have everything in front of them after the fact. It's not a conference game, so they're my pick to win the ACC.
Mine as well.
I mean, is what it is.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Clemson, Georgia, or do you think Georgia just runs away with it?
I don't know if there's really much to talk about. I mean, Georgia has some injuries that might make it interesting, but that's the only way it would be interesting. Yeah, I think Georgia rolls. It's just a matter of how much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say additionally in that game, I'm excited to see what Dabo's team looks like the most.
Very much so.
Because that, like, I've never seen someone who's won national champ like Dabo has. Like, he's catches so much heat for the most random shit. Like, the most random shit. I mean, it's like, oh, I don't know if he can do this anymore. Like, I don't know if he's the guy for the job. I'm like, wow, like, this is crazy. Like, knowing where Clemson was before Dabo then saying that about Dabo is crazy to me.
It's funny because I feel like if he wasn't so like anti-NIL on board with this whole God's NIL thing, I feel like nobody would be talking about it like that. But he is, and people are.
Yeah.
If Miami doesn't win the ACC, my pick is Clemson. Especially now that we know everything that happened with Florida State. Florida State's already digging out of a hole in the ACC.
Yep.
Because that was a conference game last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clemson, they should be good this year. We'll see. Got a lot of young players on the outside.
I don't think it's that game was a telltale of like Georgia Tech being good. I think that was Florida State really struggling.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, it's not trying to take anything away from Georgia Tech, but I really don't think Florida State played well at all. Like,
we'll see. Because, I mean, hell, I just had this feeling in the back of my head going into the game. I think I even texted you about it. I was like, man, don't be surprised if Georgia Tech wins. Haynes King is a good quarterback. They finished last year strong. So, I mean, Lord only knows with Georgia Tech. Maybe, hell, we all know Georgia's schedule is really, really tough this year. If Georgia Tech is actually good, that's just another tough game to add to their schedule for them. So, we'll see. Should have got Alex's picks for those games. But again, I'll get those in there for you guys on the graphic. But we do have his Power 4 champion picks. Go ahead and give me yours, TK.
ACC, I'm going Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Big Ten, I'm going Ohio State.
Unfortunate. Yeah. That's what it is.
Big 12, I'm going West Virginia. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win the conference. I don't think they're going to win week 1, but I think they're going to win their conference.
Well, good for them. It's not a conference game.
I guess Utah will have some noise there as well.
Yeah.
And then what was the last one? The SEC? Man, I went into this season like really high on Texas for no reason.
A lot of people are picking them. A lot of people.
I can't pick Texas. I'm gonna pick Georgia. Just feels like the most consistent, obvious pick. Georgia didn't win the Natty last year. Obviously, Michigan did. But Georgia's standard, kind of the standard right now in college football.
Yeah.
So I think anyone not picking Georgia is just an idiot. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, my only problem with Georgia out of the SEC, their schedule is tough, man. Like I can, as great as I think Georgia is, I mean they have games back to back to back that are just going to be body blows, and I could see them dropping one or two of those even. And then you got teams like Texas. I'm pretty sure their schedule in the SEC is not as hard.
Yeah,
I feel like that's why a lot of people are picking Texas. Yeah, those injuries at running back are going to be really hard to overcome. They're going to find out. Obviously, Texas fans are still really confident. People still picking Texas. Whatever. I might go Ole Miss, man.
Wow, really?
Ole Miss feels like one of those teams. Last year, they picked up some momentum. That Peach Bowl win was a huge win for them over us, and that just felt like one of those games that you can build off. And they went out, they brought in a lot of talent. Obviously, that talent has the mesh, so it'll take a little while to get there. But
they have a good squad, man.
They have a really good squad.
They have a good squad. It's just defense for them. Yeah. Can they hold people to enough? Because they're going to score for sure. I really like Jackson Dart. Obviously, the wide receiver put us on in a bad way. So, yeah, I mean that's a good pick. And if it's not Georgia, it probably is Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, and really, I'm picking them because of Georgia's schedule.
Yeah.
Texas, with their injuries, they lost their 2 interior defensive linemen to the draft. They got to replace a lot. They're putting a lot on Quinn Ewers' shoulders. Not that he can't handle it. I'm sure he can. But you're also transitioning into a new conference as well. Just not sure they won't trip up at some point. And then Alabama is probably the other team that a lot of people would be picking. But they have a lot of change. I'm not counting them out. A lot of the same players. But obviously they did lose Caleb Downs. But they're still going to be a really, really good team.
Yep.
Give me Ole Miss out of the SEC. Big 12. Big 12 is a toss-up, man.
Just give it to them, man. Just give it to them. I mean, if it's not Utah, it's West Virginia, bro. It's not Colorado. So
no. I mean, you could probably pick 6 or 7 teams out of the Big 12 and not be entirely wrong. I am going to go with Utah. We know Utah's style of play. Utah is a very physical team. Pac-12 teams know that. Cam Rising coming back. That's my only problem. Bro. Cam Rising. 40. Yeah, well, that should play into their hands, though, right? I mean, he's got experience. He's mature. But it's just, what does he look like coming off of that injury? I mean, he missed over a year.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of scares me a little bit. But I'm still going to pick them. And then Big Ten, Ohio State, I guess. Fucking hate to say it, but.
Ohio State's favorite to win the Natty.
You spend $31 million on a roster. I mean, you better win it. Yeah.
I hate Ohio that, State. By the way. I hate that that's where we're at for college football. I'm all for the kids getting paid for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm also all for the kids having people help them with the money that they're given so that it can benefit them long term in their life. Because money is a blessing for sure, but it can also be your worst enemy if it's not used correctly. So I hope they are setting them up for success long term as well.
Yeah. So Ohio State in the Big Ten. And then I already told you earlier, ACC, I'm going to go with Miami. Definitely a couple other teams to watch out for in there, especially if Miami drops week 1 and Clemson drops week 1. Obviously, those aren't conference losses. They still have everything ahead of them. But all of a sudden, you get teams like Virginia Tech thinking that they can do something. Georgia Tech, 1-0 in the conference. I mean, you never know. We'll see. Yeah, give me Miami. That's the most realistic thing, I think. And then after this week, we may revisit that. But
it's game week, baby. That's all. That's really it. It's time to go. And Sunday it'll be either a happy, joyous reading receipts off my phone, or might put a clown mask on and come on here and just eat crow for fucking
crash
40
out.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We're either going to be talking a lot of shit next week in a happy way, or we're going to be talking a lot of shit next week.
Yes.
Hopefully we don't have to get there, but
yes,
the wait is almost over. Just 2 more long days.
Go
2.5,
State, baby.
whatever. And we're there.
Last thing, we need a Gorski egg beer video this weekend.
Yeah.
Gorski, I
Get
hope
on
this
it,
gets
brother.
fucking flipped. The egg beer needs to be back. We need that energy this week.
Yeah, we
need
need
it bad.
Yeah, definitely. Before we go, we didn't even talk about this, man. What the hell is up? Like, all of a sudden, it feels like doom and gloom. Like you read some of the stuff coming from reporters.
Hey, let's wait till next week, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I don't even want to talk doom and gloom right now. I don't want to put anything in the universe right now. I want to get to West Virginia. Holy fuck, I just had a stroke. West Virginia.
Jesus.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to it, man. I've been confused the past week and a half, however long it's been since we started seeing conflicting stuff. But just ready for the game to get here and get behind us, and then we can talk actual ball. We can talk what we actually saw from Penn State. So,
yes, sir.
Looking forward to it. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in yet again. Looking forward to talking with you guys next week. Hopefully, we'll be able to get this episode or next week's episode to you a little bit sooner in the week. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe if you're going anywhere to watch some games, and enjoy it.